And how much money did you win? What was the amount that you ended up actually walking away with?
Initially, I didn't really get anything at the end, but then I guess after like the fans kind of like hounded the production a bit, they agreed to give me 15,000, which is like less than a third of the original 50,000. So, but I guess in lieu of the full 50,000, they're planning on helping me like launch my acting career, helping like boost my identity, leverage the Fishtank fame, so that I can be a regular guest star in the future seasons of Fishtank and several of the other MDE productions.
You can't put a price on that. You can't put a price on that. That's a good deal.
You're getting paid in exposure.
Yeah, so that's basically, I think, like they're what they're planning on helping me with, like really get my name out there, leverage the popularity I enjoyed on Fishtank to increase the superstardom, and help with like getting like establishing the website, the content creation, photo shoots, video shoots, paid meetups, meet and greets, appearances, and dancing performances, to the point where it's like all the income generated from all these different avenues would probably exceed 50,000 or substantially a lot more.
Well, yeah, but it's more work. Like
it's more work.
If I said, "Hey, I'm not paying you for this job. However, I have an in on other jobs you could do, which will pay you," would you be like, "Thanks, Woody. That's a pretty sweet deal"?
I kind of low key suspected during like around the halfway through that like at the end was that like there was gonna be like no money at all, and when they showed the zero check, I was like, I knew it.
Yeah, they gave him a check that said $50,000 and then gave it to him, and then Sam went up there with a big marker, blacked out the 5, went over the whole line item, and then wrote 0, and then left you in the middle of the desert, which
I thought that was just
funny
a joke. And in real life, Sam came through with the money he promised.
You know, it's not as funny now that you know he actually kind of stiffed him a little. It's kind of sad.
There better be some valuable exposure.
When I came to like what I thought was Last Person Standing, the whole goal was to like become like famous via the reality show. So like I guess in the end I did achieve fame, like more fame than I ever anticipated. Yeah. So and they're gonna help me leverage that fame to become even more like well known. And I'm also getting like all these interview requests, acting, some acting projects, and invitation price.
This is terrible. This is awful. You weren't paid for your work, and instead you got fame. Fame sucks. Fame fucking sucks. You don't want fame. That's the cost, right? What you get is money. What you pay for that is exposure. Like it is much better to live a life where no one's paying attention to you. You don't want fame. That sucks dick.
To be, I mean, I lived a life where during childhood in like my early 20s, I lived a life of like obscurity where people knew of me, but like but I wasn't well known or popular at all. So I guess like this kind of like making up for like being the weird, creepy, unpopular loner kid in school and early years of college. So now being completely famous, everyone knows who I am, everyone knows my name, everyone wants to get to know me. So it's kind of like I got like making up for the decades of being obscure and unknown.
Yeah. Something else that throughout, I think pushed production towards not paying out. Number one, they put $50,000 on Roulette in Vegas the night before the finale, and they lost. And it was 50,000 real dollars. Like they had to like buy a roulette table that would allow them to come in and film it. And like Sam is like usually a pretty even keeled guy doing his skits and all that. Mm-hmm. And he and Jet were sitting there smoking a cigar. One roll on Roulette on black, it comes up red. And then Sam was like holding the camera, like talking to himself afterward. And people were like, that was a bit, right? That wasn't the real money. He didn't just bet $50,000. And Sam was like, are you serious? Look at the camera right now. I'm shaking. Like my adrenaline is so high, I'm shaking. I just lost $50,000 at a roulette wheel for one spin.
No.
Yeah,
Burt
apparently.
just lost.
Yeah, Burt just lost $50,000.
Sam didn't. Sam only lost 15. It turned out.
Yeah.
Like,
And so
I think I've done like I guess maybe because of the nature of my my background that they probably didn't think it would be ideal to give me the full 50,000. So I guess instead they just decided to like in lieu of that help kind of like clean up my image and like establish a more safer work type of acting career. Because I did like I mentioned like throughout the time I was in Fishtank Famous House that the reason why I decided to go through with this whole nonsense was so I could get exposure and my name out there and to become more famous. Which,
let's explore this. In lieu of actual money, you're getting other gigs that pay actual money. How's that going so far?
Well, so far I got like a gig to be with Chris, I think in Florida, like where I'll be dancing on stage at I'm trying to think, like I think Fort Lauderdale is where I'll be at on this Saturday.
Is that the other 35K?
That's where the other 35 is hidden in Fort Lauderdale on the stage. Yeah.
I mean, I think this is just for like exposure and like to leverage off of.
So that is also an exposure gig.
Yeah, I think it will just help increase. I feel like are we going on appearances and like for example this interview here and like try to get my name out there.
Tell everyone how much we're paying you.
Oh my goodness. Woody.
Now this is an exposure gig, and that's why I've been a host on the show for 12 years. Woody's paying me an exposure.
That's different.
Can you imagine?
That's fucking different.
Something that
you're not legally allowed to talk about that.
I would
well, so far
I wanted to see you get the 50 grand, obviously, because you won the show. But also just from like a reality show standpoint, you definitely spent too much time saying you didn't care about the money and you were going to split it amongst every person involved.
That's the thing I'm disappointed about now, that I won't be able to like split it among the initial. I was going to split among the initial 12 contestants, but then if I had gone 50 grand, I would have like probably like give the lion's share of it to like the 5 who I felt like engaged the audience the most and also stuck it out till the very end until they just happened to be eliminated, which would have been Luke, Mizzy, Peyton, Banks, and Symbol. Mm-hmm. And then the other contestants or freeloaders, I'll probably like give a smaller amount to. Like, for example, the ones who were more standouts in terms of like freeloaders, I think was like Job, definitely. And I believe Frank to this extent, and then Nifty. She was, I think she provided like some comfort and help for me, so I would help her as well. And also like
your
Alex,
or you're
that's
paying
what
your cast.
He was going to do.
Would have done.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, like maybe they didn't. I'm not sure. I can't really speculate. I mean, just speculating. Maybe it's like they didn't like the idea of me splitting among all these people because I remember like before the show ended, I told them I was gonna like split among the 12 contestants. So like, well, with the freeloaders, I was like, okay, I'll try to include the freeloaders. Then they said production, split among production too. I was like, do anybody need to split among production? They're already getting paid like a base rate for the work. So I was like, okay. So I was trying to like zoom all the people, but I realized like if I was split among the 12 contestants, the freeloaders, the newbies, and the production, and also the homeless people in the tunnel in Las Vegas, it's like there'll be barely anything for anyone. I was like, are they fucking with me? Like, it's like
you should pay these people an exposure.
Yeah, you can bring them on and pay them an exposure.
Cameraman.
That's the exposure economy. You just keep making the world go round.
Since production doesn't seem to be interested in like me in like trying to like help the other contestants, I think I'm gonna find some way of my own to like somehow help the contestants I feel like probably engage the audience the most, besides me, and then like try to like help them in some way. I'm just trying to figure out what the best idea to do it. Like maybe like I know it's like with the Ball Burst concert, they fundraise, so they raise money for the show. Maybe like do some type of like in-person appearance where like a fundraise and get the proceeds to the contestants I feel like were instrumental in helping make season 3 the best season yet. So like Luke, Mizzy, Symbol, Peyton, Banks, Alex B, Connor, I believe, and then Job, and then like some of the other freeloaders. The newbie contestants are harder to gauge because they're only there for like about 3.5 to 4 days, and it's like they I guess they didn't have the chance to be really super engaging since they had a limited amount of time on the show until Act 3 was cut. Speaking of Act 3, like the mind wipe bit, that was not real. That was a bit. I was just trying to get back in production, try and gaslight us in the first place, like try and gaslight that lost my memory.
For Woody and Kyle's benefit, they brought on 12 new contestants a month in and told them that the show was starting anew, and the 5 remaining originals had to blend in seamlessly and work together to vote off and eliminate all those people. And Burt had a very funny bit where he's like, you guys know I'm eccentric and I have an interesting mind, and I actually have the ability to decide to give myself a blackout and to remove my memories of things. And so if I seem like I don't remember, it's because I sincerely don't. And so someone will have to remind me of all this before, but I am going to, when I wake up tomorrow, I will no longer know any of this, and I will be going forward fresh. And he stuck to it so well and like acted befuddled at every turn correctly and like reason, like it was believable that I think, didn't production bring you down to the basement twice because they're like, this dude just stopped taking his antipsychotic medication and he's now saying he genuinely has no memory of the last 4 months, like, or the last 4 weeks. So what did they say when they brought you down?
I was still trying to stick to the whole mind confused, and then just show me the drawing that Pain made for my 36th birthday. And they were trying to explain to me what it was. I was like, I don't know what that is. How's like, where did that pain come from? I was trying to get back at them for trying gaslighting us with the whole all famous house bullshit. Like I was like closing to like the season. Like if we continue Act 3 for the full 2 weeks like initially planned, at the end of the season, like assuming that I was like the last one standing, I would then reveal that I knew it the whole time, and then give like a little speech on how I would execute this plan, and then be like, I gotcha to production and to the whole remaining cast on how they try to like maybe look like a psychotic, deranged nut job, and now I end up flipping it on them, make them look like the fools.
Yeah,
so
and you did. That was a good bit.
I wish I could have ended up that way, but then we had to do the whole RV thing.
Yeah, and then the cameras were closer, and you could see you smiling a little more, trying not to crack on the funny.
Yeah, I was really trying to maintain the whole this is all fucking nonsense, like pretense, act like I'm just annoyed with all this shit. But I guess some stuff I was generally finding funny. I was trying to do my hardest to conceal it, but I guess it was just coming out in my expression.
Yeah, it was easier to see with those close-up cameras. But well, I hope the exposure pays well. That. Wish you would have got the 50K.
Yeah,
that was the game. Even if you were going to split it amongst everybody. Sorry, go ahead, Woody.
Yeah,
I know how did they rug pull you on the 50K? They just said not gonna.
They said that the whole gambling, the $50,000 was real, and that they didn't have the 50 grand to give me. But I guess in lieu of that, they're going to give me like the day rate plus the fish books I won, which I guess amounted to what they claimed 15,000. Plus, they're saying the more emphasis they're going to do is like help launch my safe for work acting career, content creation, merchandising, and make a full-blown brand of my new identity as Burt Bronx. So I'm hoping I feel they will stick to that. Also give me like priority in terms of like starring in like MDE productions and other films and content, including the future seasons of Fishtank. I think they want me to come on for each season that Fishtank goes on.
Yeah, for sure. They've got to keep you around just as a recurring character because you did such a good job.
It was real. They were going to not pay him at all.
They did not pay him at all. Basically, 15.
I
grand.
didn't.
They probably made that in like a week.
I didn't know that. I thought I was split, actually. I thought at first they're doing this as a bit. He got his 50K behind the scenes, and this is like an antagonizing thing to the audience. And then I thought, holy shit, they really gave this guy $0. But obviously it's not all real because they clearly like cut the stream and then like went back and picked him up in the desert. They're not going to really leave him standing out there. And then now he's saying 15 grand. And so who knows? Maybe it is a half measure.
It's not a character for Burt to kind of, pull the wool over the audience's eyes. Maybe he did that to me just now.
I don't think so.
I don't think he did that to us.
Dude, I felt so awkward when you were pressing him on that. You were like, no, you don't understand, Burt. You've been misled.
You have been hoodwinked.
You, sir, for all of your IQ, are a fool.
Right? I'm like, don't you take people's business exams for them?
Well, like that was
you have an accounting degree.
That's not a good thing.
Follow along.
They should have shut that down earlier in the show, because in season 2 there was, I don't remember who it was, but someone was like, if I win, I'm going to split the money with this person. And immediately, if I recall, someone from production was like, no. No promises of splitting money. The winner gets the money. And that's the end of that. If you're planning to hand this out to everybody here to like garner votes or avoid getting kicked out, then nobody gets any money at all. But when I saw Burt, and Burt really did lay it on thick on multiple occasions, like, I'm not here for the money. I don't care about the money. The money doesn't matter to me. I want to become famous. And they're like, what are you going to do with the money? And he's like, well, I really don't need it. It's not that much to me. I make more than that pretty consistently. And so I'm going to split it with everyone. And then that's when people started trolling, where they were like, so you're going to split it with all 12 of the people who started? He's like, yes. He's like, all right. And the 12 new freeloaders, you're going to add them in? He's like, I suppose, yes. And he's like, okay, but what about like the lower paid, like, but hardworking production members? You have to include them.
What?
And so by the end, it was like everybody's getting $600. And yeah,
he even mentioned the mole people.
Mole people.
Yeah. For Woody, you may not know that's what they call the tunnel dwellers of Vegas. Real true thing, not like a joke or a comic book.
The homeless. He said something about that.
Yeah. They call them the mole people. Apparently, there is quite the network of storm drain tunnels or something there, and numerous YouTubers have like gone to see the mole people. Like these people live underground, and they're sort of, I mean, they're homeless, but it looks more post-apocalyptic than homeless, because they're down there cooking and like but they're in complete darkness. That's another thing. Like deep in those tunnels, it's just dark. They're living by campfire and stuff. It's weird. I feel bad he didn't get his money. I thought that was like a joke.
Yeah, I wish, if it's supposed to be a 50K prize, it should be a 50K prize.
Do you think what do you think the plan was when he rolled that 50 on black?
What Sam said the plan was to let chat decide double or nothing. And then if he won, Ferrari.
What?
Still not a
$100,000 Ferrari?
No, if he rolled it twice.
Oh, well then he still wouldn't have enough money to pay Burt, though. That's the problem.
It doesn't seem like that was a high priority.
Fuck, because that's what I was hoping. I was hoping that he was like, look, let's roll it, and then everybody gets a bonus. But if he's like, hey, I could get a Ferrari. That's like,
and it is Sam, so you don't know what he's thinking.
Fair, yeah. I guess it could be a joke the whole time.
When I found out that Burt really didn't get the 50K, I was kind of like, oh well, you got it's a reality show for 50K. It's got to have the 50K.
You think, but the exposure—that's what you're not taking into account here. Taylor.
The exposure,
Taylor. Do you understand that he's going to be dancing on a stage in Fort Lauderdale in a week from now? Do you know how much that's worth? With
Airsoft Fatty.
Can you put a dollar amount on that kind of exposure?
Not personally, no.
Probably $327, roughly. That's what I would say.
You think so? You think it's a low three figures?
Yeah, about $327. You probably sell, get some autographs and sell some T-shirts, and you get about $320. But the flight's going to eat that up quick.
See, I have paid for some reason 5 years of tuition at UNC, but so I get to root.
They have a doctorate program.
That's they do.
You should have paid the 5th year in exposure.
Dude,
I'll talk about you on my podcast.
Dude, Woody digging into that was making me so uncomfortable. because
it was one of the better parts of the show.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I wanted to know, but Burt's such an unknown quantity that I was worried he might lash out or something. Like,
that'd be content also.
The reason
worry about your money, motherfucker.
the reason he doesn't care about it at all is exactly the reason I said. Like, he was making a point every time the money was brought up to be like, I don't care about the money. I'm not here for money. I don't need your money.
Cost him the other $35,000.
I bet it did. Yeah, because no reality show wants to hear the potential front runner be like, "Oh, this big prize, who gives a fuck? I make more than $50K every month with my cheating business."
And I'm sure Sam Hyde's doing really well, but maybe not so well that he wouldn't prefer to have the $50,000.
I mean,
right? He's not Elon Musk, where it doesn't matter to him in the slightest.
I think he gambled the prize money away.
I mean,
he did. Yeah,
but okay. You're not supposed to do that.
No, it's
Captain Obvious. Where's my uniform?
Dude, I think that's fucking sick.
Gamble all the prize money away on one roulette spin.
That's the kind of shit that like the worst dad in a holiday movie would do. He'd like take all the Christmas money and gamble it at the track, and then the real Santa Claus has to show up at the end to save Christmas. But we never fix the problem of the drunk, abusive, gambling stepfather. We just leave him in the picture, and Santa brings gifts. Like,
it's just a terrible thought. It's like the Angels in the outfield dad.
Yeah, you win the pennant. I won't move to Alaska.
He's like, I'm just turning in my 10-year-old son for adoption.
He turned him in. People forget that. Like, hey, all right, let me catch all of you up who aren't.
I loved that movie as a kid. Loved Angels in the Outfield.